That's a sin.
No.
So I complete the work within 2 hours. I deliver after 4 hours. Remaining 2 hours, it's my wish, whatever I want to do. Whether I learn something
Mm,
else, I go outside, or it's my wish. Okay. So
mm.
this is how you enjoy your life.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, and hope you have enjoyed the second part of the conversation. The third and the final, we have gone further deep into SailPoint. So I would recommend folks who are new to IAM start making note of it. We have covered topics like access review, joiner, mover, lever process, and other important components that an organization uses to perform various functions and to secure their organization. Towards the end, Krish has also shared some really good interview tips and various certifications that SailPoint provides. So listen it till the end if you want to understand this completely. There is an important announcement which will be beneficial for aspiring IAM enthusiasts at the end of the episode. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. I'm your host Ravi, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Welcome to India's first identity podcast. Why not IAM?
What are some of the features that an organization uses, like common features about SailPoint, whether it's the on-prem tool or the cloud?
Sure. When an employee joins the organization, what is the first thing we will receive? Definitely, you should know that ID card. We will receive an ID
Mm,
card, right? That's also an application to process your identity card, where your photo and your employee ID, your mobile number, everything is displayed, right? So next is
mhm,
an email address is created for you. We cannot use your Gmail, right?
mhm,
We cannot send our work related data, sensitive data to your Gmail. We need to create a mail, organization mail.
mhm,
So we need to create that as well. Next, you need to update your profile, like your details, your experience, your certificates, or your personal details, like who is your primary contact if something happens to you, an emergency. So you need to update that. Next is, right, in India, every company provides health insurance
mm,
for you and for your parents. That's also an application. Just like in your college, they take attendance. We need to take your attendance as well, but we don't
yeah,
call it as attendance. We call it as timesheet,
times. Yeah.
right? So where you need to fill the hours every week or every 2 weeks or every month, right?
Mhm,
That's a timesheet application like that. And last thing I will mention, payslips, where before payslips, you need to update your salary account, right? Bank
mhm.
information. Otherwise, actually, this is the first question you should ask. Tell me which application I need to enter my bank details so that I'll receive the salary. Rest
On
is
time.
we'll see later. So you need to know that payroll application where you enter your bank details, you can see your pay
Mhm,
slips, all that stuff. So these all are applications. Now, let's say if an organization, lot of new employees will be joining and leaving, lot of employees, data will be modifying. How are, let's say that today we have 1,000 employees joined in our organization today. Today morning they'll come and report. I
mhm,
need to deliver them ID cards. I need to create an email address for them. I need to I need to give them access to payroll application so that they'll, what can I say, they'll add their bank details. How much time it takes if I do manually?
mm.
It's a
And
lot
that
of,
was the few past, right? That's how it used to happen in the
yeah,
past. Like everything
yes,
was.
manual. Yeah. They used to create, it's a lot of work.
Mm,
So we automated this. So let's say when you join the organization or when you accept the offer letter, you already filled your details and HR will have the data. HR is your primary contact, right? HR, recruiter HR or different type of HRs leave that, it's completely HR to us. So they'll have your data. So they will send us your data. Let's say today I'll say that my name is Prabhas. How can you verify that? And it's not
mm,
uh, technical IT professionals' jobs to verify your data, right? HRs will take care of it. They will ask you to upload your proofs. They will validate all your data.
mm,
So once that is done, they will send us this HR data to any IAM product like Sale. So we read that data. Then first we call them as joiner. Joiner means who joins the
mm,
organization, new user.
mm,
Then we will create them access. We call it as birthright access. Birthright means default. Whenever a user created in our organization, by default, they should get access for these applications. So let's say that you need some Aadhaar card. You cannot get Aadhaar card simply, right? They need to verify your address at least. So in order to get any proofs in India, it will go with some approvals as well. Same in SailPoint as well. It has to, when you need some access, when you request for it, it has to go through the approval. That we call it as a governance, where you can request for access and it will go for approval. So after approval, you get the access automatically, and an email is sent to you that yeah, it is given, access is given to you, like, right. So
Mm-hmm.
but some access without request, it should be given to you. That's called birthright. Every employee in the organization should have employee ID. You don't need to be requesting further, right? That's a birthright. So these birthright
Mm-hmm.
access we will automate, and we will be giving this to all the employees once they are joining. So smooth process. Second, they will be onboarded into the project, right? They need access to work in different kind of applications, or they need softwares, or whatever they need. So they need to place the request. It will go to their managers. How come it will go to their manager only? That's what we do. We configure, right? Their access is requested. They can request, or their manager can request on behalf of as well. Then the request is sent to approval with manager, sometimes application team, sometimes some other director, something different kind of approvers, different levels of approvals as well. Only manager, or manager plus application team, manager plus IAM admin team, whoever it can
Mm-hmm.
be. Multi levels of approvals. Post approvals, you get the access automatic. Okay. So let's say that you get access. Every finance guy, every employee in the finance department should get access to XYZ application. So we automate it because there is no
Mm-hmm.
need of approvals at all. So today, if you move from finance, let's say you are a Java developer, you are developing applications for finance department. So you're working in finance. You move to transportation department. We need to remove
Mm-hmm.
your finance access, and we need to give you transportation department access automatically. Let's say you move from one location to another location. You get access card, right? In India, you swipe and you go inside office. So you are working in, let's say, Pune. We gave you the access
Mm-hmm.
card for you. Let's say you move to Delhi office. So now we need to remove your Pune access. We need to grant you Delhi access automatically within no time. Because it's not only you, right? It's lot of employees in lot of locations in the world. We need to automate that. We need to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all things we call. So whenever there is a mover, we call it as mover. When a employee moves from one department to another department, one designation to another designation, one location to another location, it can be anything, any changes. So we are going to take care of. That's called mover. Next, leaver. If a user leaves the organization on the last working day, end of the last working day, we need to remove their access. We need to disable their access. Right? You might breach our data outside. So we call it as a leaver. Once a user leaves the organization, we are going to terminate their access so that they will not be able to access. Last is rehire. If you come back, let's say after 1 year or 2 years, I have seen sometimes that the guy resigned and completed notice period, and the next one day later he came back again. So it does happen sometimes. So if you are a rehire, it's not like a new employment. We should reactivate your old employment. That's another use case. So we call
Mm-hmm.
this 4 life cycle events, JMLR, or people will call JML. So joiner, mover, leaver, rehire. These are the user life cycle management. So in these 4 levels, we grant access, we remove access automatically, sometimes with approvals, all this stuff. Next, this is one part. Another part will be, so you have access, right? Not every access is given automatically. Access will be given to you as an approval as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you were working with a team, X team, you requested, your manager approved it. After 6 months, you left that team, you moved to some other team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't need this access anymore. Who knows? So we need to review your access periodically. That
Mm-hmm.
we call it as certification. You can call it as access reviews as well.
Access review certification.
Y-
Okay,
Yeah.
access certification and access review are the same thing.
Yes, we will create a certification campaign. It will run for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, where every manager in the organization or every application team, they will be checking the access of every user in the organization. They will be talking to the resources. Hey, dude, you still working in this team? or you move to this team, do you really need this access? They will decide that and they will take the decisions. So we will make sure that our organization access is 100% compliant. So it will comes under compliance.
Okay.
And next, yeah, this is a certification plays a very big part. There are some projects which runs only for certification. Because I've seen some clients. It's a very big work. So we need to create that campaign, lot of conditions, configurations. We need to send email notifications to the managers that please take some action. This is the access review we have created for this purpose. You need to take action, log in here something. They won't take action. So we need to remind them continuously. If they don't take action, even after 10, 20 reminders, we need to escalate. It will go to senior manager. So a lot of work. This is certification. Next
And
is,
is this a part of the SOX compliance? Like, does
yes,
access certification? Okay, because I've
yes,
seen a lot of the organizations, whenever it comes to SOX compliance, I see access review, access certification, or yeah, these are the two major things that plays a key role. They immediately go behind remediating them.
yes, correct. Next is policy violations we call, or some SOD they call, segregation of duties, SOD
Okay.
policy violations. Actually, there is a product called a GRC. SAP has a GRC product which has thousands of policy violations. So it's simply like you cannot be the approver and you cannot be the requester and approver as well. What is the point of I request for myself and I will only approve for myself? You cannot be the both the parties. Let's say that let's say some access is meant for only department, let's say finance. Other guys should not be able to request for. When a request is placed, okay, when a request is placed, not every time the approver will take correct action. Because anyone, any approver, any IT professional, right, they are scared to reject the request. Why? In my view, see, every IT person is creating some business, right? Every day we are delivering some work. That's what business is. If I reject your access, you will not be able to work.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not able to work, then there is no deliverables, right? So we are scared that maybe there will be no work done. So sometimes they will approve even without checking. But anyway, my point is not every time the approval is 100% correct. They might approve simply as well. We cannot trust that. Okay. That's why before going for approval, what if I make sure that your request is correct? How come you request for finance team access when you are not working in finance team at all? Being as an IAM expert, whenever I'm requesting for something, hey, I see 5 kind of similar access. I don't understand which one to request. Yeah, let's say I'll request for any something. If something is wrong, they'll come back. That's the carelessness I have.
Agreed.
I don't know. I don't comment on others, but I do this. So, what if I restrict there itself? If I just carelessness, if I request some access, it will go. There are 50 chances that it might get approved even.
Yes. And there are
And I get
instances
access.
where it has happened
There are
in the
many
past.
times I have seen this. And we were shocked that how come you approved this request? That's where the place where when a request is placed, we will evaluate with our list of policy violations. Let's say this user should not submit request for this kind of access. We will stop there. We will not let the user submit the request here. That's this we call preventive policy violations, where we will prevent user in submitting a false access request or incorrect access request so that it will not go for approvals and it will not be approved at all and we will be 100% compliant, making sure that only correct employees are getting correct. So that's a policy violations. So SailPoint Identity IQ is a extremely Identity IQ. I don't call it as a product. It's like a framework where you can develop anything inside. Okay. So I developed a lot of policy violations where I removed this SAP GRC product, which you don't need that at all. So that kind of policy violations we can build as well. And after that, reporting is huge. You can generate and you can automate reports based on your requirements. It's a lot there. And you have plugins as well. If you cannot automate it, you can develop extensive plugins. Plugin framework is there. And workflows is there. You can develop a lot of workflows to automate a set of activities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I, d- I in identity IQ, out of all the products, out of all the languages I have worked, identity IQ is the product which I never said no. I never said impossible. With customizations, anything is in identity.
And I'll add one more thing there also. And I
Yeah,
think that's where when you said if someone really wants to create in this identity field, that's
mm,
where this development knowledge helps them a lot. Because when you say there is nothing possible in this tool, right? It's
yeah,
primarily because you can develop everything. But
yes,
the moment you remove the development knowledge, that's where you will start facing difficulties and challenges, and you have dependencies on different team members who might know development, right? And I
yeah,
think the more we see possibilities and options across these fields, development is really playing a key role in terms of whether you're trying to solve any complex use case or you yourself want to upskill your career, right?
yeah. Yeah, on top of that, it's not just because it has the development. See, development is like applying your knowledge to automate your work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, my colleague, he joined this IAM project before I joined, my friend. He applied his programming knowledge to automate some work which is not at all requiring development. They were doing they have some files, they have to open that file and find out what it has or
Mm-hmm.
something. Instead, he has written some programming. He was supplying this files as input and he has given that output within couple of hours itself, where other guys taken days to finish that work. He stood as a unique person there and he was recognized and awarded. He was promoted, everything, because you stand out as a unique person when you apply your programming skills like this, where there is
Mm-hmm.
no scope even, right? So, lot of manual works you will be doing. Instead, if you start
Mm-hmm.
applying your programming knowledge, you are going to save lot of time. Okay, a secret I'll tell you what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So now I started this couple of years back. So if someone asks me how much time it takes, I used to say very less hours of time earlier, and I used to deliver as well. After that, they'll give me some other work, right? So
Mm-hmm.
after that, I became more smart and started saying, okay, it takes this much of time. Actually, it takes for me half of that time. Whereas actually it takes 8 hours. Let's say 8 hours it takes. I'll say 4 hours. But actually, it will take for me 1 to 2 hours because I apply my programming now.
That's a
Okay.
secret, right? And
Yeah,
that's where
that's just
no.
so I complete the work within 2 hours. I deliver after 4 hours. Remaining 2 hours, it's my wish, whatever I want to do. Whether I learn something
Mm,
else, I go outside or it's my wish. Okay. So this
mm,
is how you enjoy your life. So if you apply, I write pieces of code, not everything inside. I write
mm,
like small pieces. Every smaller kind of logic, I build it as something. And whenever, after building like this, like 50, hundreds, whenever a new work comes, I just need to pick something like 4 or 5. It's
mm,
like restaurant. They'll boil everything, right? Like vegetables, everything. When you order
mhm.
something, they'll just pick that and they'll mix and they'll give you. It's very quick. It's
Yes.
how your life will be if you learn
Mhm.
programming. Yeah,
Agreed. And even I have seen nowadays in any tool, we can never say that we will not come across with any customization, right? It's
yeah,
impossible to say that because definitely because of threats growing in n numbers of the places in different areas in different sectors.
yeah,
If the threats, because what is a threat? It's basically someone trying a different way, again using coding as one of the base, right? Code as one of the base to penetrate inside your system. So if your system is still working with the old framework or old development tools, and if it's not been customized, you are vulnerable to all of these threats. But even if you want to customize your system and protect it from these recent attacks that has are being coming out, development is another way, right? To say that okay, let me uh, code it in this way or that way. So I think that is also one of the things that I feel coding helps you a lot in terms of customizing things.
yeah, of course. And moreover, it's cloud, right? Now, world is in cloud.
Hmm.
So in cloud, not everything is. It's impossible to automate everything in cloud.
Hmm.
If you compare on-premise and cloud, on-premise will have more features than cloud. Okay,
Hmm.
so Identity IQ, we used to customize a lot of things. We have lot of things we can do automatically, pulling reports, writing code, everything. Since it's cloud, we have very few things only we can do. A lot of limitations are okay. So because of that,
Hmm.
Every cloud applications, they'll give you APIs. They'll
Yeah.
expose APIs. So now based on this APIs, you need to write a lot of code to do some automations.
What is an API for anyone who wants to know about API, right?
Yeah, sure. So the API, in simple words, let's say that I developed a code and you are asking me that code, right? Hey, Krishna, I am looking for this XYZ logic code. I'll say, yeah, I developed it. Okay, can you give me that code? I can give that code to you. I can send it as an email or I can send it somewhere. You can download and use the code. Okay. So there are two problems here. First problem, why should I give my code to you free of cost?
Hmm.
Because I spent a lot of hours, right, building that. Second, why should same code stored in many places? It's a waste
Hmm.
of storage, right? That's where API came.
Okay.
My code will be here sitting in my computer only. You can make a request to my code through internet.
Okay.
So you can send your input. Let's say that what is this? You wanted to add two numbers. You don't know how to write a logic for. I have written the logic. So I will say, okay, you call the request like this. You send me the numbers. I will count. My code will count and give you the output. That will be your response. So logic is written by me. You give your request, I'll give you the output. So for every request, you need to pay me, let's say 1 cent, 10 cent, or $0.1, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I make the money. Plus the it is not required to store in every company. That's what
Hmm.
API is. And it is called as web services, which is started by Amazon. Amazon invented
Okay.
Amazon
Okay.
Web Services, AWS. That's why it is it. So any developer can sell their codes through an API, and you do not need to download their code and set up in your computer or something. You can just use them quickly.
And
So
over
say
there you have different request types, right? You have get,
yes,
post, delete,
yeah,
all
yeah.
of
We
them. Set
call
of 4, 5.
yeah different operations. We call
Mm-hmm.
internet is nothing but HTTP, right? Completely
Hmm.
HTTP. So we call it as HTTP operation. So get the data, to read the data, post to send the data, put update, delete
Mm-hmm.
to delete the data, like that. And yeah, you can quickly make a call to their, we call this API as endpoints. Every endpoint, it does a different purpose. So you can make a call to them and you can read their data. For example, ChatGPT is there. Everyone aware of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT is built with heavy code and heavy CPUs, GPUs, lot of hardware they used, correct?
Hmm.
So now let's say that you got a crazy idea you wanted to build. In order to build that, you need a foundation which is nothing but ChatGPT.
Hmm.
Are you going to build ChatGPT again? Not required.
Yeah.
You can ask ChatGPT, uh, I wanted to build some application using your ChatGPT, your algorithms. Can I use this? Can I use your code? They'll say, okay, we have a way. We have APIs, you can call them, you can utilize them, but you need to pay us. So the advantage here is for both the parties. ChatGPT is going to get some money for their hard work they have done, right? A lot of
Mm-hmm.
efforts. And whoever is requesting, they do not need to go through the same efforts, right? What ChatGPT has done. Millions of dollars they spent in building it. You do not need to do that. You can just
Mm.
use them.
Yeah.
That's the advantage. So this kind of APIs are available for all kind of cloud applications. Nowadays, every application exposes their solutions, their logics using APIs in a secured way. You can utilize them. SailPoint, I didn't know, also expose a lot of APIs. They are developing new APIs as well. So you can utilize their APIs and you can build automations as well. A lot of automations
Mm-hmm.
and workflows is there. A very big concept which is licensed. Some clients will say, okay, we do not want to purchase these licenses. These are highly expensive. Okay.
Hmm.
But APIs are there. No? So they'll hire someone to developers. They will ask them, okay, this is what my requirement is. Can you build automations? You have APIs. You can write,
Hmm.
since it's API, you can write programming in PowerShell, Python, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, Go, Perl, whatever whichever supports API, you can. So I write a lot in PowerShell, Python, JavaScript.
Okay. So I think, yeah, we were talking about the different features. Now, if you talk about the use cases, right?
Hmm.
Can we talk about one or two use cases some of the use cases that organizations use SailPoint for. I know we talked about the feature, but if you can elaborate a little bit, go a little bit more deep dive into, okay, this is a use case where company might be using it for this purpose, and that's where SailPoint comes into picture.
Yeah. As I was mentioning, this employees, once they join the organization, joiner, mover, leaver, rehire. So we wanted to have, we call it as onboarding employees to our organization, smooth onboarding to give their access, everything. So we use SailPoint or any IAM product, right? So next, let's say that an application is the X application. In an organization, we have 100 applications, for example. In that, let's take one application, X application. So X application needs to have a couple of different teams. One is development, another one is support, next is testing team, like the different teams will be there. Okay. 10 resources, 10 people send a mail to X application that we need access for this. Okay. So their administrators, the X team, X application team administrators will take your request. They'll see why you need access, who we need approvals, blah, blah, blah. Everything they'll take care of it. And finally, they'll create access for you. They'll fill the data, just like your first name, last, and they have to fill all the data for you. Okay. So it takes couple of hours for them to create access for you. So how many resources will be there in that admin team? One is not enough. At least two should be required as a backup, right? So for these two resources, I need to give them infrastructure like lab, all this setup, right? Plus, I need to pay them max. In an organization, at least 100, 200, 1,000 applications also will be there. So every application needs to have this kind of administrators who are going to set up access for
Okay.
how much money it is going to cost. A lot. Instead of having admin teams for every application team who are responsible for access providing or creating account for you. Let's say that in simple, you created Facebook account right on your own. What if you cannot create on your own? What if a Facebook team has to create? I don't know how many years they'll take to create manually for these billions of
Agreed.
users. So instead, they gave self-service. Since Facebook is a free to use, nothing sensitive, nothing secured application, they given as a self-service. But this is organization data. It's not like anyone can create access. Okay.
Yes.
So it has to be created by some administrators only. That's why it is not given self-service, right? So instead of having admin teams for hundreds of applications, we have a common solution called identity and access management, where you take any product, here SailPoint or Opt or anything. So in this application, we onboard or we will have a connection to all these applications, 100 applications. So let's say some user need access, they do not need to fill all their data. They just need to request, okay, X application access, Y application access, and click submit. That's it. We have already received their HR application, their data from HR system, right? HR team sent us their data, first name, last name, all that stuff. So we have their data already. We take this data and we send it to applications automatically because they requested and we already connected to their applications. So we do not need admin for each application. So we are going to save millions of dollars in the long run. This is one use case. So that you managing access for each and every application automatically. For example, SailPoint Identity IQ, it has a debug page where you can write your own code and you can test there as well. It's like a IDE. It's a mini IDE there. You can write the code, you can test with the real-time data. There are many times I have written a code, a very big code, complex code in production directly. I tested there and I implemented there without impacting anything in front of client. I don't think there is any product in the world, with IAM product, that gives an IDE where you can write the code in that.
So any tool that gives you that flexibility. Second,
Yep.
if you have a good community, I think that
Yes.
is a product itself as a product, it is evolving by default.
Yep.
And if a product is evolving and growing and trying its best to be on top of the market, if anyone follows that product, that person itself becomes like one of the expert. And also, as you mentioned in one of your example, where you
Yep.
cleared the interview by having one of the niche talent, right? I think
Yep.
that product itself will take that particular individual to being niche
Yep.
with the understanding of the product.
Yep. Yep. So SailPoint is chosen by top companies like Tesla uses SailPoint.
Okay.
So because of these kind of features, okay.
Mm.
So I suggest you to be independent. Don't think that someone is there to help you. Be independent, but try to be a nice person to others. Be a mentor.
And I think even as a community, I would request people or experts, anyone who is in the field of identity and access management, to join our community, and not just join a community to look for a job or just see jobs are getting posted, but also try to answer some of the questions that are being posted, right? Because if I am the one currently posting a question,
Yep.
and if, as you said, you look for opportunities where you can help, right? You
Yep.
could be the one in trouble maybe a week later. And
Yep.
just because I have got that help and I might have known it, or even if I would not have known it, I know that you have saved me that day. I'll make
Yep.
sure I'll get you the answer somehow or the other. And
Yep.
that's how I think gradually we should be building a community where we are continuously talking about technical things. Maybe I see a lot of people, right, going, attending webinars, seminars, traveling to different places. But the overall objective of these podcasts is like, why wait till the end of the year or 6 months or 3 months to go attend a webinar to gather knowledge?
Yep.
What if we as a community could come together, talk about the complex things, and the problem that you have faced and the journey that you have gone through could help someone currently struggling with the same problem immediately, rather
Yep.
than them having to go through, read hundreds of articles and still try out things, right? So I think that is one of the importance of having a technical community, I would say. So moving on to the other, like one or two things that I would want to ask, and before we wrap up today's session, what are the different certifications that they can do in SailPoint as of now, which is there? What is the starting certifications as a intermediate, and then how can they go about in
Yeah.
being an expert?
Yeah. Actually, SailPoint has university as well, where they'll keep the e-learnings. Okay. At least it will give you some knowledge. SailPoint has certifications for all levels for both Identity IQ and I don't know. Starting with Identity IQ, it's associate, it's a basic level. Next is engineer. Next is architect. Three. Whereas I don't know has I don't know professional, I don't know engineer. I don't think I don't know architect is yet released, but it will be. Right? It has SailPoint certificates,
Hmm.
basic, mid level, and architect for both products. I don't know. You can add your Java certifications. You can add your cloud certifications to that.
Hmm.
Then you can get a different level of badges there, a different level of certified there. And you cannot certify on your own. In order to go for certification, you need to use your organization email address, and your organization should be partner with SailPoint. For example, there is an X company which is not partner with SailPoint. You cannot create account in SailPoint even. Okay. So to get
Okay.
certified also, you need to register in SailPoint University. There you need to submit or register for certification. The certification cost is $400. It's
Okay.
expensive, and it is valid for 2 years. So,
Mm.
okay. And if your organization is a partner, I think you will get somewhere 40% discount. So you can pay what and then go for certification. Now,
Okay.
recently, SailPoint announced its community or university, I don't know exactly, as a open source. It means that anyone can use.
The
Partners.
university, right? I mean,
Yes, it's
recently, I think a month ago, around
yes,
November,
they
they
did.
did announce that. Yeah.
Yes, they did announce. So it will be available to public. Their goal is to create more cybersecurity professionals. So they
Hmm.
announced open source. So you can find in LinkedIn in my profile or someone. We will try to keep posting in LinkedIn. You will find the data. So nothing to worry. Or you come to SailPoint Expert Ambassador Forum. You can ask the question there, right? You will get the
Hmm.
answers there as well. Or you can ask anyone, you will get the answer. But SailPoint, we have documentations for everything.
Hmm. Okay.
Even for
I mean, yes.
certification also, it has a documentation. It will give you how to register, what are the certifications, what level of expertise required, what are the concepts you need to learn for the certification, where how the certification will be. So unfortunately, the certification has discrete multiple choice questions. So a question is asked, they will display the options. You need to choose yes or no for each and every option.
Okay.
So you cannot come back. In case, let's say that a question has 4 options, let's say that third option is the correct one. But in case if you selected second option is the correct one, which is wrong, done. That question is gone. Okay. And you cannot come back to the previous question, nothing like that. So it's a different set of exam. And
Okay.
guys, I know that you will ask me this or someone will ask later. Do you have dumps or test questions for SailPoint? Unfortunately, no. There are no dumps. There are no sample questions for certification. Yeah. So you find this documentation in SailPoint, community.sailpoint.com under resources, certification related. You find all this information.
And can someone just go through, read the articles and follow the general article that's there on the SailPoint University and then clear the certification?
No, that's what I was referring, right? You should be the partner. Otherwise, you
Okay.
cannot
Okay.
log in even. You cannot
Mm.
log in and you cannot register at all, right? If you won't log in,
Okay.
how can you enroll for the certification?
Mm.
That's why. And now currently developer.sailpoint.com. It's not a big URL to remember, guys. Developer.sailpoint.com, or you can say SailPoint developer documentation. It will come. Or documentation.sailpoint.com. These are the two portals where SailPoint will be updating their document. Developer.sailpoint.com, where you find all development like coding or configurations related stuff. Documentation, pure documentation will be there about every concept. So you find you do not need to log in, you do not need to register or log in anything. You just open developer.sailpoint.com,
Okay. Okay.
or in LinkedIn you can find me. I have written a lot of articles about these things. You can find.
Okay. I'll anyways link down your LinkedIn handle and then all the references, the links that
Yeah,
you just mentioned. I'll make
yeah,
sure I put it on the description. To just sum up this, I just have maybe two questions. One
yep,
is how can someone set up a lab right on
mm,
SailPoint
yeah,
for practice labs? And then some of the interview tips, like quick interview tips. If someone is preparing for a SailPoint interview, what are the key things, 4 or 5 things that they should uh, know by default if they really want to excel in that particular interview?
yeah. So lab identity IQ, it's on premise, so you can download the software. That's available through SailPoint community, where you should have an account. How you get the account? Only if your company is a partner, you can log in with your office email address. And another way is, in case if your company is not a partner and you are not at all working even, since it is not commercial, you can ask any experts like me. We have accounts, right? We can give you the software. It's okay to give because you are learning. There is no commercial purpose here. It's okay for pure learning purpose. So you can get the software like that. Whereas identity now it's a cloud. You don't get trial version even. For example, if you take Okta, where Okta, you just fill your data and enroll for trial version. You get 30 days, I believe. You can use Okta product, which is a cloud tenant. Whereas SailPoint Ident now, you don't have trial version even. There is no way that you get the lab. There is another way. Whereas if you're not working in any project, Ident now project, you don't get anything, right? Obviously. So outside that, as a SailPoint expert ambassador, I have SailPoint Ident now tenant as a developer relations. SailPoint given me DevRel tenant, so I have my own tenant. But to get a tenant like this, you should have knowledge, right? So you cannot go there as well. Getting my point,
Okay.
right? So how I got the tenant, I'm an expert. Why you are asking a lab to learn and practice, right? So you cannot reach my position there without learning, right? To get the tenant. So
Mm.
I can say like you don't get a tenant or you don't get a lab in Ident now. I hope they will start a trial version in future if possible. Otherwise, you need to learn through some trainings only where you can see the videos, right? You cannot practice, but at least you can see them. But I suggest you to learn to go through Identity IQ. Since Ident now is a tenant cloud SaaS product where you do not have a lot much control and visibility even. Everything will be working in the background. You cannot see that. Whereas Identity IQ, You can see everything that is happening. So you will have a lot of knowledge what is happening, right? So I recommend my mentees that whoever come for help, I'll say that, okay, don't worry that I didn't know is not available for you to practice. Go to Identity, learn Identity IQ product. Same knowledge you are going to apply in I didn't know as well with little difference. It's going to help. If you are good in Identity IQ, I didn't know is very simple. Trust me, I haven't learned I didn't know at all. I started blindly working in it. A little challenging, obviously, if you don't know anything in that challenge, little challenging will be there. I faced it, but I have read the documentation and I was doing the work. I built a project, complete project from scratch, in and out for a client without knowing I didn't know, and I completed it. Meanwhile, I was going through little documentation.
And then to wrap up this whole session, what are some of the interview tips that you would want?
Yeah, interview tips.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually open sourced my GitHub account, one repository where I was writing some documentations or something. But I'll give that in LinkedIn itself. Maybe I have written some interview questions already with my experience in India, attending a lot of interviews. So interview tips would be like before going there. So whatever the work you have done, just keep that in your resume. Most of the good companies and good projects, they will look for the resume and they will look for what you have done. They will ask questions from that only. After that, they'll ask if you know the concepts in other, if you know the, if you have the knowledge in other concepts which you haven't mentioned in your resume, but you should answer them as well. I used to say, yeah, I didn't get a chance to work on it, but I know how that works. This is how it works. If there are some interviewers very bad, they'll expect everything and they'll give you like peanuts as a salary. Like, I don't know why they ask like that. If I am the interviewer, what I would prefer is I'll see your resume, I'll go through your resume and I'll ask whatever you have done. Apart from that, I might ask you a couple of questions to check your expertise, and that completely depends on your confidence levels. It doesn't need to be known everything. Okay. And coming back, the interview questions, there are like 30, 40 interview questions. You can go through all of them and learn. Third, identity IQ, definitely there is a demand for, there is a 80% requirement for developers, only 20%, 20 to 30% of support is required. I can say, if I put in different words, 80% of jobs are for developers. 20 to 30. Yeah.
Switch
In identity IQ.
developers, right?
In identity IQ.
IQ. Okay.
Yeah. Whereas I didn't know, it's not that much development is required. We don't do much development in I didn't know. Though it looks like that, but actually we do a lot of development there as well, right? But again, coming back to that point, so 80% developer jobs are there, 20% support jobs are, okay? But when you go to the company, right, when you land in the project, it's you do 20% development, 80% support work. I don't know why they'll ask this, okay? But when you go to the interview, the common question I get is, Krishna, I worked in support. I haven't worked in development so far, but I have basic knowledge. I have interest to become a developer. I'll say like, yeah, say the same thing in your interview. Again, if you can cross question me, Krishna, the interviewer might think that I don't know this development knowledge, so they might reject me, right? If he's rejecting that interview, he's a bad interview. I would suggest you don't go to such kind of people. See, as an IT professional, I see willingness to learn something. I see the confidence. I see the interest or passion to learn something.
Yeah.
I would love to, not like seniors, but when I'm hiring a mid-level resource, I would love to hire a person who doesn't have development knowledge, but showing lot of passion for learning. That's where I wanted to have such kind of candidates who are urged to learn something, not someone who knows already.
Yeah,
Okay?
or a mid-level or
Junior level or
beginner
mid-level,
right? Yes.
beginner level, mid-level, something. So no worries. If some interviewer is rejecting, consider that, yeah, it's very good that I didn't go to such kind of bad person, bad person. Okay, it's okay. Be genuine, go there. And try to learn meanwhile. I have created developer series in LinkedIn, or I'm working on some trainings as well. So if possible, learn. If not possible, go and tell honestly. You know what, guys? I was working in IBM tool and I didn't know anything about SailPoint. So I was trying to read SailPoint documentations. I learned some basics. I practiced a little as well. Then I attended interview. I was interviewed in IBM tools only. and then I was landed, and they were asking me to work in some other products, but I tried hardly to get into SailPoint project. Without having SailPoint knowledge, even I landed in SailPoint project. See, that's what my journey, guys. So I didn't know anything about SailPoint. I learned some basics, not even basics, some keywords only, but I landed. So if you are passionate and if you wanted to go there, definitely one or the other way you will go there. So I was there. So go and tell the same thing in your interview. If that company is good, if that project is good, if that interviewers are very good, IT passionate professional, they will give you the project, they will hire you. If they are not taking you, don't worry. There are a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. And to just sum up this conversation, right? I think one
Yeah,
thing that I have experienced, the only difference between someone who does not have an experience
yeah,
plus someone who has an experience is the exposure.
yeah,
Because if you have exposure to SailPoint for
mhm,
5 years, you are a
yeah,
SailPoint expert. If
yeah,
I don't have, then I'm not an expert. So it's
yeah,
basically the exposure. And as leaders or as one of the way in order to groom this industry is to start giving exposure, start trusting the freshers or the mid-level guys or the junior guys,
yeah,
because eventually they are going to be one of a set of specialists in the future. Because if
yeah,
you don't groom and don't provide resources, how do we expect the industry to
yeah,
grow, and then how do we expect
exactly.
people
Yeah,
to fill those positions?
yeah, exactly. So if any directors are watching this podcast, yeah, I'm not as experienced as you are, but I have knowledge that you are hiring talent from other companies. Okay. You are not at all creating a new talent. You are not grooming a new talent because you are not hiring someone who doesn't have knowledge in the project. You are
Mm,
not hiring someone says that I have support knowledge but not development knowledge. You are not hiring such kind of candidates. But you are hiring the already good talent from other companies. Do you
mm.
think that company will sit idle? They will hire your talent.
Agreed. Yeah.
And the talent is in the last couple of years, the main reason behind high attrition rate in India behind was the mistakes from these directors.
Mm,
Whoever is taking this kind of decision. Talent is being shuffled in India, not made,
agree.
just being shuffled. If you keep doing this, it's going to be a disaster one day. You will also, so some company hired a lot of resources. They also have high attrition rate because you are hiring someone else's company. They'll hire your resource. So
Mm,
that's why you need to hire the talent like this and create the talent for you instead of hiring already having resources. If you take a project, you need 10 resources. They hire 3 resources, no, who doesn't know much, who are showing the passion.
mm,
You have remaining 7 resources, right, to manage these things. That's the change we need to bring as in leadership. I
mm,
hope it will change in future.
agree.
That's it. That's
So,
my request to the management in India.
mhm. But again, thank you very much, Krishna. Talking to you, understanding your perspective, I believe that all our listeners, viewers will enjoy this, will have a great learning experience as I had promised them. So I would want to thank you for taking out time, connecting with me, and helping our community grow. And I would definitely look forward to talking to you on more technical topics, deep dive into in the future sessions. But thank you again, Krishna. I
Yeah,
really appreciate your time.
yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me, Ravi. Yeah, looking forward.
Good job if you have reached here till the end. I hope you have learned some really good insights around SailPoint. Coming back to the announcement, our community is starting a free ping identity training for anyone who wants to learn the access management side of the world. This is open to all, anyone, whether you are a fresher, you're a student, you're working in different domain, you're working in IT but not in IAM, anyone looking for job, any geography, this is open to all. The training starts from 30th of January. You can get the details by joining the WhatsApp group mentioned on the description, or you can fill the form if you're not comfortable joining the WhatsApp group. And we'll be posting regular updates, and all the information will be shared to you via email or through the WhatsApp community that we have. Hope you all join the community, join the training, and benefit a lot from here. Thank you, and hope you have enjoyed the SailPoint series with Krish. Namaste.